and welcome to M1 Yarns and the Michigan Makers Podcast. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Jamie. I'm the yarn dyer behind m1yarns.com, and I'm coming to you today from Metro Detroit, Michigan, where I live. And it's been a minute. It's been a crazy last few weeks. I had wanted to record this episode right after the Fresh Coast Fiber Festival, which, if you didn't know, I'm the organizer and creator of that brand new fiber festival. It took place in Traverse City, Michigan at the very end of May, and it's been a lot. All good things, but I really truthfully just needed like kind of a bit of a unplug situation. But I had so much stuff piling up around here, as you can kind of see, that I thought, you know what, I really want to throw out a new podcast onto the interwebs. And so I've been making a list. I had intended on recording this morning when my makeup was fresh, when the coffee was strong, when it was cool, so I could wear this sweater to show you, which is fresh off my needles. But now it's 6:15. The dog is panting. It's hot out. Right when I was about to hit record, someone started like weed whacking outside. A car was revving its engine. So I'm sure it's going to be the usual chaotic vibes. But nonetheless, we are here. I hope you have something to drink and something to stitch on while I chat with you, because I have so much to share. I have things I got at the festival. I didn't do really any shopping. Oh, I bought, that reminds me, the first thing I bought were these beautiful mugs by a local Northern Michigan ceramicist. Is that the right word? And she just makes the most beautiful mugs, but they're in my kitchen. I'll have to insert a photo. Daisy, can you lay down and stop panting? So without further ado, let's just dive right in, and I'll start with what I'm wearing. This is fresh off my knitting needles. This is the Eva cardigan. And if you've watched any of the episodes, basically this entire year of 2026, you've seen me talking about this. This yarn was created for me. Nonetheless, what was I saying? Nicole of Coyote Run Fiberworks, who is a local Metro Detroit mini mill, she created this yarn, and I dyed it in my Cherry Capital colorway. And then I'm going to get up close so you can see these cool buttons. These buttons are by Lisa Peters of Buttons by Lisa Peters Art. And I bought these, well, I saw them in her booth at Rhinebeck last year. And she had like a long card with the cherries and some strawberries. And I went up to her and I said, basically, like, the turquoise is the color of my Fresh Coast logo, and the cherries play into Traverse City being the cherry capital of the world. And I really love these buttons, but I don't want the strawberries. Like, what can we do? And so she created a custom button set for me. And if you can hear the weed whacker, it just started again. And it is like literally right outside. I mean, it sounds like it's ridiculous. Don't you know I'm podcasting? Anyway, so these are ceramic buttons, and they're really cool. And I wore this to the Friday night kickoff party of the festival weekend, which was just a load of fun. It was at a distillery. We had Tony of TL Yarn Crafts and her beautiful mama Gwen as our special guests, and Tony's dad came. That was really fun. And for all of you who bought tickets and came for that fun party, thank you. That night was really special and a fun way to really get the Fiber Festival weekend started. So I'm gonna talk to you today a little bit about some projects I'm making, some projects I'm planning that are not even knitting related, some collabs, some things I got at the festival, and yeah, just kind of a little touch base. So, I don't think I ever talked about this on a previous episode, which is a shame. But nonetheless, it's okay because you can still get the kits. I teamed up with Ruth of Spout Knitting last summer when we got talking about the Fresh Coast Fiber Festival. And she said, well, you have some really fun Michigan grown, milled, and dyed yarn. Why don't I do a design and we'll just call it a little collab? And that's what she did. She designed this beautiful shawl, I would call it. She called it the Byway bandana. You could wear it as a bandana. So this is one of the samples. And then this is another. So she knit like a smaller version and a bigger version. And so this was the one M1 yarns thing that you could get. Like I didn't have a booth at the festival. This and then the Fresh Coast colorway on bulky, which I'll show you. I had this at the merch table and then I had these kits. So I'll just show you real quick if you're interested. These are limited edition. They come with a festival sticker, and the pattern is really approachable, and sorry, can't do two things at once. Let's hope that stays. Yeah, really a nice fun knit, and I think that this would be perfect, you know, whether you work in an air-conditioned office and you can just throw it on, or you want to style it, you know, as something you wear throughout the day in the cooler months. Now is actually a great time to cast this on because you could leisurely knit it and then have it ready when the temps go back down again in the Northern Hemisphere. So that was fun, and I really appreciate Ruth, who was such a pleasure. I can't talk today. I think my brain is just mush. Such a pleasure to work with. Very talented designer, so go check out her design collection on Ravelry. And I'm getting hair in my face already. And it's kind of hot in here, so I don't know how much longer this sweater is going to last. So that's that. Let me just set that there. Okay. Shall I show you some stuff I got at the festival? I probably should, shouldn't I? So many vendors contributed to goodie bags that were given to the attendees of the Friday night party, which we called Fresh Coast Social. This was the logo. You can see the chair went from being like having a turquoise blanket on the logo to having a red blanket. Let's see if it'll focus. And a little drink on the chair. And that was so fun. So attendees got goodie bags. Over 20 vendors contributed to these goodie bags. Really cool things. Minis, stitch markers, notebooks, so many cute things. I mean, look at this one. This is by Knitting in the Wild, who is like one of my favorite new to me people in the fiber world. She is not only so cool, but like she played into the chair theme. She made really cute gauge rulers, like the little kind that are on a little chain. I have mine somewhere. I gotta find it. But she had a lovely booth. Her and so many other vendors that came from Minnesota really brought their A game to this festival. I mean, all the vendors were just phenomenal, and a big shout out. Um, they all hold a special place in my heart because this was the first year, and I was just blown away. The vendors brought great stuff. I mean, really great stuff. So one of the things that caught my eye before the festival, vendors were, you know, sharing on Instagram like what they were bringing, and Teresa of Get Bentz, I have to say it slow or else I get tongue tied. Get Bentz Farm. She posted this kit. It's like a, you know, 2 skein kit. So you get the like brownish tone and then the creamy tone. These are from the, let me put my glasses on, from the flock, Icelandic and blue-faced Leicester cross lamb's wool from the Bentz farm, sport weight. And she gifted this to me, actually, so a big thank you to Teresa. These she posted on her Instagram before the festival with a photo of her holding a lamb while wearing these cute mugs, mittens. I'll insert a photo here. And I messaged her and I was like, I am obsessed with those mittens. Please save me a kit. I want to buy one from you. I think they are phenomenal. I've wanted to knit colorwork mitts for quite some time. And she was so kind. She gifted this to me and I could have cried. She brought the cutest vintage camper and she had it outside the arena where there was another yarn truck and there were llamas, and she had her camper yarn truck with a tent and just the cutest. She is also from Minnesota. I swear, like, Minnesota is calling me. I need to go. I haven't been in years. But this was really special. So I'm excited to knit this pattern. So if you're interested, you can get one of these kits from her. Let's see. Oh, this was the gauge ruler I was talking about a moment ago from Knitting in the Wild. I'm glad I found that. Let's see. So I got mugs from Lynn Clay, and I'll insert a photo here. And then I bought also this bag from Knits from Michigan Woods. Isn't that cute? And so in all, that was really all I bought. I really didn't have time to shop because I wanted to make sure everything was taken care of. But it was so great seeing so many people I know in the fiber community. I mean, yarn shop owners came out, customers of mine who just had the nicest things to say, and you know, the knitting and crochet community in Traverse City really was so welcoming and incredible. All the vendors who were from Traverse City, all the makers who were excited to have something in their backyard, and Traverse City itself was just great. I mean, every single person I worked with to make this festival happen was so wonderful to work with. I'm just like, I'm blown away, honestly. I'm kind of the type, I worry about everything, mostly so that I can be prepared for the worst and hope for the best, which was definitely my game plan going into planning this festival. I was like, I'll try to, Daisy, can you lay down and not kick the tripod, please? Even the weather was so beautiful. It felt special that I had thought of all these things that could go wrong. And if they go wrong, Daisy, lay down. Here's, you know, what we're going to do. I had a game plan for just about every potential crisis. But there were no big problems. One of the shop owners who came out to support and say hi was Kimmy from Snow Day Fibers. Yes, I don't know why looking at this and trying to look in the camera is throwing my brain off. Snow Day is in Ishpeming, which is in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. And I went up there for her grand opening in November with my good friend Emily, and we brought some yarn that I had dyed for her shop, and she came and brought me this bag, and I just thought this is the cutest thing. So that was sweet. And then after the festival, I stayed in Traverse City for a couple more days. A lot of people who were at the festival actually thought that I live in Traverse City because I had the festival in Traverse City, but not true. I would love to live in Traverse City, but I live in Metro Detroit. And we spent a few extra days up there having fun. We went to Sleeping Bear Dunes, packed a picnic at sunset, and well, it was close to sunset. And had the most beautiful view. I'll insert some photos. And then we went to Mission Point Lighthouse for the actual sunset, and it was beautiful. Apart from all these like bugs that were following me around, it was weird. And then the next day we went shopping, and I found the cutest little boutique. And you know, when you're in like a little touristy town and they have those overpriced boutiques, especially for women's stuff, but they sucker you in with the cutest things. And I saw this, Ain't My First Rodeo, and I thought I have to have this because next year for the festival I'll be able to say it ain't my first rodeo. Also, fun fact, I grew up in Colorado Springs next to the Pro Rodeo Hall of Fame, so that felt like a little bit of home to me. So that was fun. Okay, let's dive into crafty projects. It is June. It is hot. We are having a hot summer. And I would like to be thinking about what I'm going to knit for my Rhinebeck sweater in October, which is usually what I do every June. I pick my pattern, I pick my yarn, I get everything lined up, and I start knitting July 1st. That is my program. Right now, I want to think about a heavy sweater, but I don't. So I'm kind of thinking about everything else, namely tank tops, sewing projects, and I hate sewing. But I've decided this is going to be the year that I conquer my hatred of sewing. So I think I mentioned this last episode, but have you seen on Instagram those videos where they upcycle like a men's dress shirt into a cute little fitted women's shirt with a ruffle collar? I'm going to have to find a photo so you kind of get a sense of what I'm talking about if you've not seen it. But these videos got me, and I do love a good upcycled project. So I went on eBay. I bought this Ralph Lauren dress shirt. It's basically brand new. I mean, absolutely no stains. It still has that feeling like, you know, when a shirt is new. There's no stains, no wear. I honestly think it's brand new. But I bought it for like $9. So what you do, in case you don't know, you cut off the bottom so the length is closer to like an appropriate length for me. And then this bottom piece becomes, you cut off the collar also. And then you attach the bottom piece here where the collar was, you attach it to this line and you pleat it so it becomes ruffly. And then you can chop off the sleeves and the side to like take in the sides and then reattach the sleeve. It looks fun. I don't know. I'm probably going to hate it, but I'm hoping to do this weekend. And let me tell you, I loved planning the festival, and I'm giving myself a few weeks off before I start planning the 2027, which, yes, there will be a 2027 Fresh Coast Fiber Festival, dates to be announced. But it's nice to now have like a little more bandwidth in my brain to do other things. Like I've done some gardening. I have some house projects, a little painting maybe. I bought some tile I'm gonna redo. I'm doing myself because I love it. I'm gonna retile my laundry room floor. Anyway, along the sewing lines, and yes, there is going to be knitting in a moment. I just found this account on Instagram today called Vicky Sews, and it was someone talking about a free dress pattern, and the dress looked just like, as far as the silhouette, a dress that I have from Banana Republic that I paid like way too much for. And I was like, I love the fit of that dress. And it says intermediate, but I think I can do it. So I went to my local fabric shop this afternoon on the hunt for fabric to make this dress. And I found this beautiful cotton. And it has almost like this cool, shiny feel. This color is my jam. I could like paint every wall in my house this color and be happy. So I got this. The pattern, you know, I'm gonna have to print it and piece it and all that jazz because I've never done that. I've only done like, you know, old school sewing patterns, and it's been many years. And me and my sewing machine don't get along. So this is my summer non-knitting crafty project. And I got a cute little thread to match. Don't you love when let's see if I can get this to focus. When you find the right thread, I tell you, it's awesome. So I did get a message from a friend of mine in the knitting world. I can't talk today. And she was asking about fabric shops in Michigan. And I'm like, I really don't know of any except Haberman's in Clawson because it's down the street from me. So if you know of any and you like to sew, please share. Okay, so after I finished knitting this, I had more yarn left over than anticipated. So I weighed what I had and I thought, you know what this needs? I need to make this a twin set. So make like a tank top. Well, I wanted something fast and mindless, which meant a pattern I've already knit that I already love, that I know how it works up. And so I landed on the Ripple Bralette DK by Jessie May. I've knit that a couple times. So I'm holding this fingering weight doubled. This is technically, fingering weight doubled is more than DK, but I'm compensating by picking a different size, you know, all that stuff. And I'm right at about the point, I wanted it to be a little bit longer. So I'm wearing high-waisted jeans. So I want it to kind of fit when it stretches out. Like the hem will be right there on my belt. So I am at the point where I need to split, where you make the front cups and then the back I think just ends right there and then you make straps. So this has been really nice and mindless and fast, which is great because lately when I sit down to knit at night, not much is happening. I don't know, my brain. So this is where things go really like off the deep end because I had been wanting to knit one summer tank before I decided to knit that Ripple Bralette DK. I'm looking on my Ravelry real quick, so bear with me. I wanted to knit one tank top And then I would get back into like winter knitting. But the tank top that I wanted to knit was kind of involved. Let me show you what I'm talking about. This one, by Other Loops, has that cable down the front. It's fingering weight. I did a gauge swatch. I got gauge, and then I started knitting, and I didn't have gauge. No. I realized I didn't want something so high-necked. I didn't want to do cable knitting. Sorry, I gotta clean my glasses. And I was like, you know what? I'm not feeling it. So, even though I bought that pattern, then I went back to Ravelry and I found the Ridge Tank button down, which let me show you. Cute, right? You got those little ridges. I gauge swatched. I'm dropping things. I cast on. I had knit like several evenings worth. And I looked again and I'm like, am I really enjoying this? Really not. Let me look at the gauge. Let me like really think about this critically. And I realized I didn't have gauge, even though I did a gauge swatch. I was off by like 7 stitches. So it was going to end up being way too big. And I was like, you know what? I should find something to knit with the gauge that I'm getting. Which is how last night I landed on a top that I had been wanting to knit later in the summer and maybe kind of wear as a layering piece. I don't know, but I do like it as a tank top. Sorry, I'm getting glare. This is the Darjeeling top by, hang on, I don't have my glasses on. Wait a minute. Trust the Mojo. Is that right? I don't know. It doesn't sound right, but okay. Darjeeling top. Trust the Mojo. So I'm going to trust the Mojo and knit this top. So earlier today, I cast on, and there's like 5 different cast on options. One of which is Judy's Magic Cast On, which is what I did. So you have like live stitches, and then you have working stitches. And so I've only knit the first row. It's all kind of jammed on here, so it looks crazy. But I'm hoping for the best. I'm going to trust the Mojo. That's going to be the theme. Even though the Knitting Mojo is not very high right now, but we're just going to trust it. And I'm hoping to use these cutie patootie buttons because they're kind of summer themed. I got these at Rhinebeck last year from Holland Hoof Farm. They are in Ohio. I love these buttons, and I knew I'd find the right project. So I'm hoping that these are the right. If not, we'll find something else. And the yarn, which you might be asking, what is the yarn, Jamie? The yarn is coming to M1 Yarn soon. This is a, okay. It's a cotton alpaca fingering weight that's absolutely beautiful and soft and lovely. And I already have several colorways already dyed up. So once I get that kind of going, then you'll be able to see how it works up, and then I'll release the yarn. That's it. I do have knitting plans. Should we talk Rhinebeck patterns? We should save that for another episode because I'm already at about 30 minutes. And my post-it note with my Rhinebeck sweater ideas is over there. And if I get up, the dogs get up, and then the whole thing is just kaput. So I think we're going to end it with that. Oh, the one thing I wanted to say about the festival, about why I've waited to record this episode, to say all these things about how great it was and how much fun I had, and thank everyone for coming out, is that I've been waiting for the photos to come back from the professional photographer that I hired for Sunday afternoon. And she messaged me yesterday or this morning that I am finally next on her editing queue. So I'm hoping that tonight or maybe tomorrow I get the photos and then I can insert some. But I don't know. I kind of want to edit this and get it into the world. So might have to be next episode. We shall see. If I got photos, I'll insert them here. If I did not, you'll live. Yeah. So I think that's all I got. Thank you for joining me. My next event, because I always try to keep you guys posted. Excuse me. I believe I'm going to be vending at Wine and Wool in Jackson, Michigan. And I have some more fun stuff to talk to you about in regards to that on the next episode, which I should record in a couple weeks so that you see it a couple weeks before Wine and Wool, which, if you're in Michigan, Wine and Wool is at the Sandhill Crane Winery, Vineyard, whatever you want to call it, which is beautiful. And this year they changed the hours. So instead of like all day, this year it's going to be noon to 8 p.m. So kind of a nice way to spend a late afternoon, early evening, just saying, drinking wine and buying wool. So anyway, thanks for joining me. Tell me what you're knitting or crocheting or sewing. Tell me where you like to buy fabric. And until next time, bye.